That's why I get so mad at people who I call out who just like got to tell fat people that they're fat. You got to tell them that they need to exercise and eat less. I'm like, oh yeah, you don't think that they've heard that?
Welcome to the Mindset Mirror Connection podcast, the podcast where we have honest conversations about food, body, exercise, and mindset. I'm your host, Christina Hathaway, licensed associate marriage and family therapist with specialized training in food and body obsession, certified personal trainer and nutrition coach. And we have candid conversations about how your mind, your body, and your identity are one integrated system and teach you how to treat it accordingly. So if you're a high-performing individual who loves educational, thoughtful, and no bullshit conversations around health and wellness, you're in the right place. Here we believe what you say in your mind, you see in the mirror. So let's have a conversation about that. Before we get into today's episode, I want to make sure you subscribe to this YouTube channel. Also, if you don't want to miss any content that's being dropped, make sure you hit that notification bell as well. I also want to know who are the people you want to hear from on this show and what topics would you like me to continue to cover. Thank you so much for your continued support. Now, let's get into the episode. Let's talk about it. Welcome back to the Mindset Mirror Connection podcast. I'm so excited that you took this time out for yourself to learn something about your physical and mental health. And today we have the one and only Mr. James Coppola from New York City, bright and shining, my Italian brother from another mother, Italian mother to be exact. And James is a hero and advocate. He is someone all over social media, giving a voice to those who don't have a voice, but also calling out people in the industry who are patronizing, who are demeaning, who are really just talking down to any person trying to be healthy and cutting out all the bullshit. He lives with his wife and his daughter in New York City, and he is the owner of Zero Shortcuts Fitness, a sustainable health and fitness training company that is built on improving your quality of life and throwing out diet culture, right? The toxicity of the fitness industry is something that he focuses on, and we're going to be talking today about his story, misinformation about nutrition, the toxic industry, and the downfall of society with how people are treated in regards to health and wellness. James, welcome to the Mindset Mirror Connection podcast.
Thank you so much for having me.
Listen, like you saying yes to this is such a treat. I have been following you for quite some time because for me as a therapist who is also a personal trainer and nutrition coach, like my goal in this world is to recreate this industry
Sure.
in a way that promotes exactly what you talk about and just have the entertainment value of what you bring with the quality of the message is phenomenal. So I know our listeners are in for such a treat. So thank you. Thank you. I want to start with your story. I've watched a lot of your reels, and you had mentioned that you had your own struggles with eating and exercise in the past. So I want to just start there and kind of understand what that relationship with food and exercise has looked like for you, so our listeners can kind of understand your backstory.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, it's a typical story of a fat kid becoming fit and then turning his life into fitness. I was a chubby little fat kid up until like 13 or 14 when I really started working on it. And I was bullied a lot, a lot. On top of my weight, I also have ADHD and I had a stutter. So I had a big target on my back. And it really did a number on my self-worth and my self-confidence. I still struggled in school and stuff, but I knew that I could get into shape once I started, and I knew that I could be funny. So I just dove headfirst into getting as strong as possible, being as fast as possible. I joined the wrestling, football, and track and field team because I just always wanted to be active doing something. I tried as hard as I could to be the class clown and to make everyone laugh, just have some sort of value. But I really didn't believe that I could be myself. I always thought, how could I gain this crowd's approval? How could I fit in? Is my body good enough? And I really got into shape for the wrong reasons.
That is so fascinating to me because I feel like, and I'm curious about your experience. That's probably the experience of most people.
Yeah.
If they don't realize it is someone direct to them, right? Where there's an actual like bully situation, or even from a societal standpoint. It's like, I'm not actually getting in shape because I truly want to. It's this message that I'm receiving that until then, I'm not enough, right?
Yeah, that's why I hate when people say to me, like, oh, you just didn't know how to do it right. You just didn't have discipline here and here. I said, no, I never wanted to get into shape. I wanted to be accepted. That
Mm-hmm.
I didn't care about health. It's the last thing I
Right.
cared about.
Right. Oh, that's so good. When did you have that awareness? I'm curious. Like,
Like,
when did you finally come to that, like, oh shit,
like, like,
I've been doing this the wrong way?
2023, 2022.
Yeah. It's crazy because our motto is what you say in your mind, you see in the mirror, right?
Mhm.
And it's everything that I talk about is how much your mindset affects your outcomes,
Mhm.
right? And I'm curious, since you obviously found yourself trying to change your body and be as healthy as possible to be accepted, where did you find the barriers, or where did you come on the edges of that? Because I can imagine that because it wasn't, you were leasing that confidence, you were leasing that feeling of pride, whatever you want to call it. What kind of barriers did you run up against because you were doing it for everyone else?
Well, I never really had quality of life for myself. It was dependent on other
Mm,
people's perception and validation of me. So
yeah.
I would go into debt because I didn't have the guts to tell them that I didn't have as much money as them. I would deprive myself to the fullest degree and then get really drunk or blackout or whatever so I could just eat without guilt or just not care what people think.
Hmm.
And then I would punish myself for doing that and then go back to doing it again. And this was a cycle for like 15 years.
Wow. I appreciate your vulnerability in that. It's very interesting because I have a similar story in
Mhm.
that way of I was a dancer my whole life, and obviously that is very body focused in regards to how you
Yeah,
look
of
and your
course. I
weight
can
and all of
only
that.
imagine.
Yeah. But what I'm hearing, and I think what the listeners can take from that, is like realizing how someone could have looked at you and be like, wow, like he's in great shape. You know, he's so committed, he's so disciplined, and not realizing on the back end how detrimental some of those behaviors were to your mental health as well. Right. And I wrote down something. So I take notes because we are cut from the same cloth. I'm also a neurodivergent person, so I have to write
Cool.
down my questions so I don't forget. Because at least for me, it'll come and then the bird goes over here and I
Yeah.
forget. It's so interesting, your story, and how as you're talking, like, wow, he has made these characteristics of himself, right? Someone who's interested in health and wellness. Obviously, where it came from was not from the healthiest place, but since you've come to terms with the reality of that, being able to transform it into your platform, but then also the entertainment value and how
Yeah.
you stand up for the little guy. Was that by design, or did it just naturally come for you?
Well, first, it was all about me just trying to battle my own insecurity. And it was a lot of me, 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 me. And I figure there's nothing wrong with being vulnerable or sharing about myself, but let me switch this up a bit. Let me see who else is struggling. Let me channel my
Mm,
pain and try to help them.
yeah.
And I remember I defended this woman who was getting just ripped apart at an airport for just eating and existing. And then I really blew up on like TikTok. I think this was 2020 maybe. And then I kind of understood, oh, okay, I can do this. You know,
Hmm.
I know who I'm talking to now and I know why I'm talking to them. I know what I can fix. And over the years I've evolved. Like there was a lot more name calling and it was a lot more there was a lot more animosity and anger because it was my first time kind of shouting back at these people.
Hmm.
So it was coming through and I could tell. I don't repost anything from before like 2024 just because the content is fine. I just don't really like where it's coming from. I could see the pain, I could see the anger.
Mm. Mm-hmm.
Um, and eventually, my DMs were starting to flood of people who are very thankful with what I'm doing and saying. So I just, like most neurodivergent people, I hyperfixated. I had tunnel vision, and I just went. And I did about 10 posts a day for 6 years, and that
You're
was it.
crazy.
I
10 posts a day, kill me. That in
really,
itself is amazing.
some people think that I'm just in a basement making content all day. Collectively, all 10 posts, even not counting like the reposts that take me like 2 seconds, it takes me like half an hour to 45 minutes of my day.
Yeah. It seems very genuine. Like you see something, you're like, hold on, let me grab the phone. Is
Yeah.
that how it is for you? Yeah.
Yeah.
It
Yeah. The
seems like
second
that.
I feel
So that's
something, if
great.
I'm just like sitting like with my wife, I'm like, I'll be right back. And I go downstairs and I just come up.
I love it. I love it.
It's,
And now it's so nice because people like tag you and stuff, right?
oh, yeah. They just send me stuff. I hardly have to look for it.
That's so nice. Two things. I think that it's so great to like your self-reflection and self-awareness of being able to recognize like the way that I was approaching the topic at first was a little bit more emotionally fueled from my own struggles. That's what it sounds like in my own, like as if I'm talking to my those bullies of the past and being able to recognize that. I think a lot of us, and you speak to this in a lot of your content, like people will make assumptions or give advice or speak their mind based on their own traumas and their own shit, and that's not necessarily healthy for anybody, right? And also can be really toxic in regards to content. And being able, it sounds like 23, 24 was really eye-opening for you. Was there any work that you did around that, or was it just more of
I was at a
maturing?
bachelor party and I was just like 250 with not a good body composition at all. And I was just coked up and blacked out, drunk. And there's just this photo of me where I just look from my face to my body, just awful. The last thing was health. And I'm like, I own a fitness business.
Mm,
And it's not like I need to be perfect, but I certainly can't be this.
right.
So I was like, I need to change something because if I keep going down this road, I'm screwed.
Mm-hmm.
Because I was just so unhappy with myself, and I convinced myself that when I got messed up and everything like that, that everything was okay, but
Yep.
it wasn't.
Same.
And I just became a hermit crab, and I paid off all my debt. I just took care of myself for the sake of taking care of myself. I chased performance exclusively and just
Mm-hmm.
quality of life. I gave myself food freedom so I didn't feel the need to binge.
Mm-hmm.
And I've never been more consistent in my life. I throughout my entire career, I flip flopped. Since that, I haven't. It's only been upward.
It's amazing. That's amazing. And kudos to you. I feel like for me, alcohol was my vice. And
Mm-hmm.
it was the time where my brain would slow down,
Mm-hmm.
and also I realized for me, alcohol was when I could play, which was part of my own trauma. Like I could be funny and goofy and play when normally I'm like the, do all, be all performer, make sure everyone's okay. And so I just want to validate that you're not alone in that and seeing yourself in that
How
position.
many years did you struggle with that?
So 2012 was, I was in a relationship that as a therapist, I was working in child crimes, and I worked with the Phoenix Police Department in all their high profile child abuse cases, and would end the night with shots of Jack Daniels and arguments with my partner at the time until he broke up with me. And I'm sitting in a house that I own. I have a master's degree. I'm running these fitness classes and drinking until I completely black out and argue with everyone. So I said, I keep going through this cycle, and I am the common denominator here. So
Yeah, right,
I
right, right.
literally called a therapist. I was a therapist, I was
Mhm.
still a therapist, but I was 2 years into my career. And so I called a therapist and I said, hey, do you have an opening today? And she said, yes. I said, do you have 2 hours? She said, yes. And we just I
Good
mean,
for you.
the manila notepad that she used was crazy. So, and I think that's so important for people to hear, because I talked to Adam Schaefer from Mind Pump about this. For a lot of people in this industry, like I said in the beginning, a lot of our draw or pull to this industry is from our own insecurities.
Sure.
And if we don't deal with that, right, while we may look a certain way on the outside, there's so much going on the inside. And for individuals who are watching that, right, for the common person, they just see the aesthetic. And with you sharing your story and being completely honest and transparent about it, it goes to show, like, you could be the health guru online, but no one ever really knows what's going on internally. And so when did you begin to share that with your community, and what was the reception of that? Are you tired of wasting your money on diet and exercise program that leave you feeling pretty much the same? You're spinning your wheels, but the food noise is still there, the body dysmorphia, the overtraining and not seeing results, the emotional eating, it's all still there. But you don't think you have an option because they're pretty much all the same. What if the next program you invest in combines therapeutic practice with exercise and nutrition science and behavioral change? What if this program focuses on what you say in your mind so that you can have a better relationship on what you see in the mirror? Hi, I'm Christina Hathaway, licensed therapist with specialized training in food and body obsession, certified personal trainer and nutrition coach, and I'm the founder of the Mindset and Matter coaching program. Here, we see your mind, your body, and your identity as one integrated system and treat it as such. We focus on your self-defeating beliefs and understand how they impact your behaviors and thus the outcomes that you feel stuck in. We do this through the Mindset Method, my psychological curriculum that I've curated with over 15 years experience and adapted it to you, the average woman, and this coaching program. This is one method, one program, one coach, and let's face it, the one area you've probably never done the work on. So if you're tired of spinning your wheels and wasting your money, check out the link below for more information.
I remember it very clearly at first when I tried being vulnerable. I did it. I was in a kind of bullshit online coaching business guru, like mentorship thing. I don't want to say who.
We'll have to talk about that later.
Yeah, I don't want to say who because I don't want to put them on blast, but it was $12,000 and a complete waste. It was $12,000 I did not have.
Mm-hmm.
And they were just so money hungry. It was just so not my vibe. But I remember a few of them had very vulnerable posts that like did well. I wasn't ready to be vulnerable yet. I just kind of forced the vulnerability and like the tonality wasn't there. It was awkward. You could see I was uncomfortable, my body language, I barely held eye contact. And I remember like the instructor or whatever is like, yeah, this wasn't authentic. So I'm like, all right, so I guess it doesn't work then. I guess I just have to put on a lie. I guess I just have to wear a mask like I always have. And I just have this victim complex. And it just took me a little while to just finally help people and find a way to put myself in there to show them that I empathize. And it made me feel better because me trying to help them was authentic. I've always had that. So I was able to give them advice while being vulnerable, and that kind of took away the pressure of having to be vulnerable for clicks and views and everything. And then when people learned more about my eating disorders and things like that, and it was kind of out of the bag, it was easier to talk about. A lot of my friends hate my content or hated, and I lost a lot of my friends. One of my best friends said, like, you're objectively not funny. I think your content is very cringy. You know, you may want to just choose something else. I'm like, I'm going to keep going. And I just kept at it. I did 10 posts a day because of how uncomfortable I was.
Oh, that's interesting. It's like repetition.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just sit through the discomfort all day long. Eventually it'll go away, right?
Yeah. I used to just put on the camera and be like, so I did this today and this, like, it was just like, I got to post it. I got to do it. And then eventually I was fine. And now it's effortless. And I'm not trying to brag. Content is effortless for me.
That I would love to like have a conversation about that on the outside of this because it's not effortless for me. So what I'm hearing from you is vulnerability every time. And I think with, transitioning into the type of content you're running now, I feel like just from an outsider looking in, of course, it's so authentic and real. Like you care about these people. So there's that part of it too, right? That authenticity of, like I said, standing up for the person who is trying, trying to get healthier, or even someone who, and oftentimes it's someone putting down someone who's trying to get healthier or has a different body shape or whatever that looks like. And again, for you, where does that, and obviously from your past, but where did that kind of take shape of not only am I going to be vulnerable in my story, but now let me be vulnerable and kind of advocating for those who don't have a voice or their voice is being silenced because of some asshole on social media?
I can feel their pain. I mean, like you see how
Mm.
easily I can cry.
Hmm.
I've always had very, very, very strong empathy. It's not something that I'm putting on. It's amazing how many people think I'm that good of an actor to like fake it. I mean, I am a good actor, but I just feel like how can you not think that I'm authentic at this point with my past? It doesn't make sense as to why I'm trying to help them. Like,
Hmm.
and I don't really think about it much. I just see a post of someone in pain or someone struggling, and then everything else in my brain stops, and I only see them. And when I do content, I imagine I'm looking directly at them.
Mm. Hmm.
That's why
That's
it takes
awesome.
me 2 seconds. I'm not thinking, well, what does this person think? What does this person think? I don't care.
Hmm.
I want them to feel better. I don't care if it gets one like and it's them.
That was my next question.
Mhm.
Do they oftentimes reach out to you?
Yeah, yeah. Most people who I support, I DM as well.
Oh, wow. Okay. So they know that it's going to come out.
Yeah, not really with the people who I call out.
Right. Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
let's talk about that. I am obsessed. And also, I'm not only obsessed with the health content, but also the political content, but
Mhm.
we'll save that for another day. So, you've written about like creators monetizing being bad people, and I feel like it's getting worse. It is getting worse. We saw
It's getting.
Homegirl Rack or whatever her name was
Mhm.
that was talking about, take your 160-pound energy to the treadmill, blah, blah, blah,
If
blah, blah.
anything, I would say that that's like tamed to just some of the stuff that I see or some of the stuff that I sent. Just truly deplorable, racist, bigoted, homophobic, fatphobic people
Hmm.
who
What,
ha-
where do you think this is
they
coming
have an
from?
audience. They have an audience now. They're not shunned from society. It's accepted
Mm,
because of their echo chamber.
true.
And they are just tired of kindness, compassion, and wokeness, and everyone accepting everyone the way they are, and they just misinterpret it entirely to excuse their hate.
Hmm.
And
Yeah.
it's an ongoing battle. Like it's not just agreeing to disagree anymore. There's a, a visceral anger between the sides. Like even like the I was talking about this last night. Like the roast of Kevin Hart that was just on.
Hmm.
It just felt different because there was actual hate with like the jokes to like each other. Like it, and it kind of takes the comedy out of it because now it's just people just being mean.
Right.
And I feel like it's being disguised as like the harsh truth, or you don't have a sense of humor or some stupid stuff like that. Like they just they don't care because they don't have the ability to put themselves in someone else's shoes.
Hmm. Right. It is that lack of empathy. They think empathy is woke, right? Which is so interesting until something happens to them and then it's
If you
wham,
attack
wham,
one of
wham.
them, if you attack one of them, then all of a sudden they care about women. All of a sudden they care about
Hmm.
it's
Yeah.
so stupid.
Yeah. It's incredibly hypocritical. And it's just so interesting to me because, again, I study human behavior, I
Hmm.
study behavioral change, I study, all of this. And I see right through the bullshit, right? I see
Yeah.
right through it in regards to, I explain this on the pod, oftentimes better than and less than. Less than is what a lot of people talk about, the not feeling good enough. But the better thanness comes from the same root problem, which is trauma, right? And lack of esteem and self-worth and boundaries and moderation in life, all of these things. It's from a codependency model that I follow. And so I see right through it. It's like you're trying to be better than and act, holier than thou or whatever it is, just shows me how insecure you are. But it's just mind blowing that there is well, I shouldn't say mind blowing because I have the education, but there are so many people that think, yes, like I agree with that. That is the way to go. And they're reposting or maybe even talking down to you when you're calling them out. And it's kind of comical to me. I'm wondering how do you deal with that
Well, what's
when
funny is
the bullshit comes back at you?
there's rumors going around that I made fun of someone's mom having cancer, or I made fun of someone with like disabilities, and I'm like, in what world?
Right.
What world would I ever? No one is going to believe that. You just can't find dirt on me because I'm not a piece of shit. So you're
Mm-hmm.
trying to spin this stupid shit of me saying that I would do something. I don't even know what mother you're talking about. I don't know what person with a disability you're talking about. You all are just trying to write a narrative. I'm not like you guys. There's no amount of money I can go into someone's comment section with my name and my picture or even a burner account or anything and say like you're fat, you're ugly. Just
Right.
I can't fathom doing that. How weak, how deplorable, how
Right.
dumb. You're a piece of shit. Fine, fine, whatever. I'm calling out about an action you did, which I'm okay with, but just to attack physical attributes, to just demean someone from a personal standpoint,
Mm-hmm.
ugh,
It's not in your DNA.
no, I can't.
Yeah.
Even the
But
people
the
who I'm mad at,
mhm.
I might call them basic names and curse words, but never like, never. I'm trying to think
You're
what I'm
not attacking their character or like their physical selves.
right. Like
Maybe their character a little bit.
I will call out like hypocrisy if someone is bitching about processed ingredients and seed oils and stuff, but they have a face full of Botox and like lip fillers. I will call that out,
Yes.
but that's not attacking them for that. It's just like hypocrisy.
I love that. Thank you for doing that. Or the
Mhm.
people who, I know who obviously do drugs.
Mhm.
I've seen this in my own personal life where they do drugs, but then like shame you for something else you're putting in your body. I'm like, you snort lines of cocaine. Like, I
I
don't
know.
know
I
what we're doing here, you know? So I think it's so important. I kind of feel like we're like pulling back the curtain of what's going on in this industry.
know.
And, you know, I talk about this a lot that there's no governing body, right? Like as a clinician, I have a governing body who will revoke my license if I'm out there spewing bullshit, right?
Mhm.
But there is no governing body.
Sure.
But this is an industry that or an a profession, not the profession, just the culture that so many people want to get right. So many people want to get their health right, which is noble, right? We want to live healthy lives. However, we can literally turn to someone who has no life experience, no education, no certifications, no training. And just because they have, maybe flashy editing or look a certain way, whatever that is, we say they're the person, I'm going to take my advice from them. And it's mind blowing to me. And so I feel like we need vigilantes like yourself. That's what I'm going to call you now,
That's
to
okay.
say no. Like, this is wrong. This is not educationally or backed by research. This is incorrect. You almost have become, and you and a few other creators that I follow have become almost governing bodies. And we've had a lot of them on here, like Abby Sharp has been on here. Beth Farrakho has been on the
Yeah,
show. She's the best. I don't know if I
yeah,
got
yeah.
her last name.
Yeah. I'm close friends with Beth.
Yeah. And I love that. I feel like you guys have become the governing body of this
It's
industry.
incredible how many people think that I just hate fit people, or I hate nutritious foods, or I hate men. Like, you have to try harder to see that I'm not an advocate for health and fitness than to write the narrative that you're writing. You have to go through my content and ignore every post where I'm trying to inspire someone and educate them or improve their form or improve their relationship with food. And you just need to cherry pick. Whereas the people calling me out, I just have to look at every post to see them demeaning and belittling people. And
Mm-hmm.
they have the balls to talk about me.
Right. Right. Well, and I think it's interesting because that compassion and empathy that you share for others, it doesn't just, I think people assume it's just for a woman.
Right.
It's
Well, I
true.
support a lot of men too.
What was that?
But like I support a lot of men too. They're just choosing not to look at
Right.
that.
Exactly. That's what I was going to say is like, no, compassion and empathy towards health and wellness, your body, even as you talked about, like eating disorders. We don't talk about that in men, and it is very real. I worked in all levels of care of eating disorder treatment as a therapist. Like,
Mhm.
it's very real. And it's not just young men, it's across the spectrum. It's just like women, right? And, again, these individuals obviously their goal, it's a grift, right? It's this performative character of the villain. It's a villain edit, whatever you want to call it. And great, if that's what you choose to do in your life, whatever. For us as the leaders in this industry, and obviously you have an amazing following, I think that you're continuing this fight, if you will, and continuing to shed light on what is hypocrisy, what is manipulation, what is toxic versus what is real, is again heading us towards a different culture. I hope for you, you have your program Zero Shortcuts, right? And that's your online program, and the process behind it, you say, is kind of living the best quality of life,
Yeah.
and pushing out diet culture together. So I'd like to give you, like, I would like to learn a little bit more about that program and how it came to be with all of this kind of included in it.
Well, starting, I mean, I've been going door to door to people's houses with the Bosu ball and dumbbells since I was like 16. And then I got my degree in exercise science from Manhattan College. I graduated. I got certified like 2 days after I graduated. I got my ACSM,
Mm-hmm.
and I immediately just signed up for our local Gold's Gym, and I worked my way to the top there. But the most I was going to do there was like $50,000, and honestly, it wasn't about the money, but I had to be realistic,
Mm-hmm.
like about growth.
Yep.
So I just applied to both Crunch and Equinox in the city. It's funny. I think to myself how much my life could have been different if I went to Equinox instead. But I went to Equinox, and the fitness manager like had her feet up on the desk. She was eating during like the interview, and I'm like, forget this. And I went to Crunch, and I felt a lot more accepted. And I'm still friends with a lot of them till this day. And since I had all these certifications and my degree, I already started as a top level trainer. I Within a year I became the fitness manager of that location,
Mm-hmm. Nice.
and it's very hard to be a boss of someone you were coworkers with for a year. Very
Yeah. Yes.
A lot of them did not take me too seriously as a boss. So I
Mm.
got transferred to the Park Avenue location where I did well. I like to say that I broke a sales record there that hasn't been beaten because it shut down, but still, no one beat it.
No one needs to know that.
Right.
No one beat it. I love
And
it.
then I kind of just missed just training because, again, they run you through the ground if you're in management. So I just was a master trainer at 59th Street. I had a great thing going there. And then COVID happened,
Mm.
and then we got furloughed. So my wife and I just didn't have a job, but I had so many like clients I could do virtually. So
Mm.
we at least had a little bit of time to gather our thoughts of what we wanted to do.
Mm.
And we knew that we had to make a move with an LLC. I knew that I wanted sustainable fitness, just couldn't think of a name. So we both did shrooms and we got a
Came
whiteboard
up with
and
it.
we just went nuts. And I
Oh, that's
remember
funny.
my wife was taking a shower and I was drawing on the whiteboard. And then I just came up with zero shortcuts. And then I ran into the shower with my clothes on going, I got it. I got it. And I got the LLC while tripping balls.
Sure.
And
Yeah. So listen, again, psychedelics have been shown to do a
yeah,
lot of great work
yeah.
in the therapeutic industry. So, not surprised.
And I still didn't know what I was doing. Like I said, I bought into that like mentorship program, which was a waste. I knew that I could train. I just didn't know how to market myself. I was like, first, it was just like, well, people want to get into shape. So that should be enough.
Mm.
Like, I know how to get them into shape. They should want that. And then that was just such a simple way of looking at it. And I was just wondering, like, well, how come they're just not filling out applications? I don't get it. I'm showing that I'm strong and all this. It's like, oh, they don't give a shit. So once I started being an actual human being, then I remember just like the applications were just hundreds.
Yep.
And then the rest is history.
Yeah. I love that story. I feel like it's, COVID really, for a lot of us, kind of said, hey, there's nowhere to practice. So you've got to figure this out. And you take and coming together with your wife, did she also work at the gym with you?
Yeah,
Nice.
not with me. She worked at 34th Street.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And coming together. And I love zero shortcuts because, obviously we know that shortcut 8-week challenge
Yeah,
bullshit
yeah,
doesn't
like
work.
yeah. I mean, I really have a thorough screening process of whether or not I'm going to take them. And it's really nice people, but if they're like, I need to look like this by summer for
June
bachelorette
1st.
party, I'm like, I'm not your person. I'm sorry. I
I
can't
love that.
in good conscience do that. I wish the best. I hope you find what you're looking for. I don't try to convince them otherwise. I'm just like, I I can't do that. I could do that. I'm not going to.
Yeah. What else does zero shortcuts mean to you?
It just means, hey, you're doing this for life. Like, stop with the desperation. Stop with like you need to go on this diet, this and this. We're just going to improve your lifestyle. That's it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You should be strong. You should be pain free. You should eat nutrient dense meals that you enjoy. Nothing about this is supposed to take away from your quality of life.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to
I
be
love that.
fine. It's going to be challenging because it's always challenging to grow, but that's why I'm here. And we're going to do this together. I will not reprimand you. I will not come down on you if you overeat, if you overindulge. I won't demean you if you miss a workout. It's a coaching opportunity.
Yep.
You will get results if you keep showing up. If you don't show up, you won't.
Exactly. I love that because that's how once I got through my stuff, and I'm sure this story is similar to you. Like once we got over our shit, and we just, like you said, you were focusing mostly on performance, right, and strength. And for me, it was like balance, like mental and physical balance when it comes to exercise and food. And it doesn't mean that there are not indulgent meals. It doesn't mean that, we may go and have drinks. It doesn't mean that I'm working out every day. Like, actually, it is that consistency.
Yeah.
And that's how we live our lives. But again, from a social media perspective, you think you have to be, working out 7 days a week, and you can't have any, we put foods into categories of good and bad, pass, fail, and so on and so forth. And really, that's not the reality. So I love that you not only named your company that, but embrace that in yourself, and then also are able to implement that with your clients. And what do you find is, so say that someone's like, okay, I'm going to do it this way, right? But they've been in the yo-yo diet factory or the 8-week challenge factory. What do you
Right.
find is the biggest challenge with those particular clients?
Them conquering their limiting beliefs. I'm too
Mm,
old, I'm too out of shape. This isn't going to work. What's not going to
mm,
work? You literally walking more, training more, getting more nutrients in. It is working. It's just not fast enough for you.
hmm Right. Yeah. Again, it's like,
And
remember the name of this company?
if I can reach through the screen, I wish I could just hold their head and be like, "You're doing fine. You want to jump ship because you're uncomfortable right now. You have to stay here.
Yeah.
Sit in the discomfort. You'll be fine."
Love it. As
It's like,
everyone listening, we say it together. Discomfort creates change. Like,
yeah,
you're not going to
there is
see
no
change without
world.
getting
There is
uncomfortable.
no world in which you will thrive in only ideal scenarios.
Right. Exactly.
And when I sign people up and they're really optimistic and they're really excited, I'm like, hey, I love the optimism. I really do. I'm just saying you're going to have a shit day, a shit week where you're not going to feel this optimistic. I want you to remember the person who you are right now. Don't forget who this person is and run away. I'm like, oh, I won't. I promise. And a number of them do. I don't hear from them again, even though they dropped a huge chunk of change.
hmm Yeah. That's always interesting to me when people will literally spend money and then one little thing happens and then they're gone. I mean, it's that failure narrative that's going off in their minds.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I get it. It's an out of sight, out of mind sort of thing.
hmm
I was like that with like admin work and stuff that I really had to like be organized with. Like I keep a lot of stuff in my head, and it drives my wife nuts. And I remember when my district manager came in to talk to me about my business plan for my team, and I really thought in my head that like everything was like good, like we were going to hit goal. And then she's like, no, we need to like sit down and put it on paper. And then when I did it on paper and I actually faced like the data, I'm like, oh God, I'm not doing a good job. And that was uncomfortable. And I
Right.
remember that.
hmm
And they feel the same way if they're not doing this perfectly. But my district manager was kind of a bitch. I'm not. I'm not. So I just wish they knew, hey, whatever it is, we'll talk about it.
Yeah. I think it's so important to have those conversations up front. When clients come in, it's like, listen, you will, if they struggle with binge or emotional eating, like, that is a part of this process. I
Mhm.
expect you to. And our goal is to have a shorter relapse than we did last time. I'll use the
Right,
word
right,
relapse,
right.
right?
Or like catch yourself in the middle of it and not have an all or nothing mindset to just keep going.
Exactly. Exactly. And really honing in on that growth, because again, we all know how to do this. We all know how to lose weight. We know how to we know how to exercise. Are we doing it correctly? Not everyone. But it's this,
I know.
right?
That's
It's the
why I
whole
get
reason
so
for this
mad. That's
podcast.
why I get so mad at people who I call out who just like gotta tell fat people that they're fat. You gotta tell them that they need to exercise and eat less. I'm like, oh yeah? You don't think that they've heard that?
Right. They don't say it to themselves.
Right. Like, what are you're not doing this for them. You're doing this for your like-minded peers. You don't think I see you? It,
Exactly.
and you have the balls to say that I pander?
Yeah.
Oh. God, I
it,
hate it.
it's it is it's so terrible because you're telling individuals, you're only reinforcing their own inner critic, right, in
Absolutely.
their heads, and punishing them into change. And there's no sense of self-respect or self-love in that process. It's punishment and demeaning themselves, and they already know that that's comfortable. So we just talked about discomfort, right? The discomfort is, well, what if we start to turn towards the idea that I can respect myself in certain ways, or I can like one thing about myself. I do a body image assessment when clients come in and say, what's one thing you like about yourself, even if it's your nail beds, because you can get your nails done. Like, great. Because once we open the door to, oh, there's something I like, we can get more of that, right? And, again, when I know you know this, but for our audience, when you're seeing these creators out there who are being so demeaning and nasty and toxic and deplorable, that was a great word, like, just recognize that they are insecure humans that are trying to feed off of or make you feel. It's kind of like what you tell your kids, like, bullies want you to feel the way they feel inside. They
And
just have a platform to do it.
they are always the ones that call me like insecure or my wife insecure. Always. They are always projecting.
Oh yeah, projection is a great word. Absolutely projecting. And so for those of you listening, make sure you're following James so that you can be on the good team. On the I don't know anything about Marvel, but I imagine there's like a good side and a bad
Yeah.
side. So we're on the good side. I should probably figure that out. We're the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. See, I know that. So okay, so the program is Zero Shortcuts, and you guys are all completely online, or are you doing
Yes.
hybrid?
No,
Okay,
no, no.
completely online.
Completely online. Haven't trained in person since 2020.
Yeah. And where can they find information about the program?
ZeroShortcutsTraining.com, and you'll have all the
Mhm.
information of our services from one-on-one training to group to our membership. And our philosophy is that you don't have to compromise your quality of life in order to be fit or reach your full potential. There is a world where you can have both. It's just meeting yourself where you're at and doing this day by day.
Love that. Love that. So, for somebody who's listening who has like done that kind of quit and restart cycle a dozen times, they're kind of just over it. What's the first thing that you'd want them to do this week to begin to create change?
Just identify what it is that they want to improve, but be specific about it. Stop saying I want to get into shape, I want to lose weight. Just like what do you want? Do you want to be in less pain? Do you want to not feel horribly after you eat? Do you want to have more nutrients? Do start really asking these questions instead of vague response that's going to bring vague actions. It's about you really talking to that inner self that you've been ignoring and trying
Mhm.
to just make yourself happy into a body that you think will bring you joy, but it's bringing you misery.
Mm,
So just meet yourself
such
where
a
you're
good
at,
point.
find out what you really want, work towards that little by little. Once it starts becoming second nature, you add more and then you add more and then you add more. And before you know it, this is your lifestyle.
Yep. Agreed. Agreed. Okay, so we do rapid fire questions. There are a
Okay,
few questions. They're called a mindset moment. I'm trying to see which ones we haven't brought up here.
sure.
What's your favorite way to quiet the noise in your head?
Cooking and usually listening
Ooh,
to like Frank Sinatra or Dean Martin or something.
I am related to Dean Martin. You're welcome.
Uh,
What do you cook? What's your dish?
Anything and everything. Obviously, a lot of Italian food,
Hmm.
but I mean, I'm sure that you've seen my the cooking segments.
I have not seen cooking segments. I'm just
Oh, okay.
getting the reels, like the not the reels, but what I'm talking
Sure, sure.
about, where you're
I
talking
mean,
to another
big
another reel.
braised short ribs, French mustard chicken, penne alla vodka, just anything and everything.
Well, I'm going to take a picture when it shows up on my page because that's what's going to happen after this. Okay. Let's see here. What's one book or resource that has greatly influenced your approach to health and wellness?
The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck.
Love that book.
Mm-hmm.
So good. So good. And then how do you stay motivated and motivated, not just in health and wellness, but like to keep going on tough days?
It's not really, I try to explain this all the time to people who ask me about motivation. At this point, it's not really motivation. It's just what I do.
Yeah. You don't need a dopamine hit.
Yeah. As far as strength training and stuff, it's Monday, so I'm going to do Monday's workout. It's Wednesday, so I'm going to do Wednesday's workout. It's a day, so I'm going to get 12 to 15,000 steps. I'm going to keep up my 10 pieces of content because this is what I've done for years. I need to do a good job with my business and show up for my clients, so that's what I'm going to do. And it's just what I do. It doesn't matter if I'm motivated or not.
Yeah, that's a whole thing in regards to training your brain outside of a dopamine reward response. I talk about that here a lot, is like it takes a lot longer than we assume. We think it takes 21 days. It actually takes upwards of a year, and it's going through that cycle of relapse and, all of those things. So I think that's a great example.
There's some people who thrive on setting goals and achieving those goals and stuff. I just like pushing myself to be better and then just setting milestone after milestone. Mm-hmm. If I have a certain goal in mind, it almost puts pressure on me that distracts me. But if I keep doing what I'm doing, it just kind of happens. Mm-hmm. Does that make sense?
I'm about to tell you how it makes sense. It's an iterative mindset. It's what the 5% of people who actually keep weight off do differently than the 95% of people who gain the weight back. They have goals that restrict them to say you have a narrow view of being successful, whereas an iterative mindset says exactly what you said earlier. I do these little changes and then I add to them and I stay consistent with it, but also can kind of adapt and be flexible with how I get to that end result, to a point where then a year down the road, it's just what I do, right? It's part of my life. There's a whole study. There's iterative mindset. It's a part of the brain called the habenula. I talk about it a lot on this podcast. Dr. Kyra Bobine, she has great work on that. So anywho, thank you. This has been so great. I want to, there's so many things I wanted to ask you, but I want to be cognizant of your time. For those of you listening, please give James a follow. Share with us, and I'll put it in the show notes, your handles on socials.
Sure. James_Coppola on Instagram, James Coppola on Facebook, and J_Coppola_fit coach on TikTok.
Do you guys have a podcast?
No, just because we just are so incredibly busy. And honestly, I want a setup like yours where I can feel comfortable. Like right now I'm at my dining room table and it's fine, but like I would like an area that's exclusively made for that, so I could just kind of like relax and just know that that's all taken care of. So I think that once that's taken care of, then I'll start. But it's just, I have so much going on right now. Yeah.
Well, 10 posts a day is like a podcast, right? Well, thank you again. For those of you listening, please share this with those out there. It's so important for us to see behind the curtain, if you will, of this industry that all of you are looking to get health advice from. If you haven't already, make sure if you're watching this on YouTube, you've subscribed to my channel and then hit that follow or like button wherever you're listening to us in your ears. Other than that, we're going to leave you the same way we do every single week, reminding you that what you say in your mind, you see in the mirror. Bye-bye.